Hello, friends. Welcome back to Searching for Calm. If you're new here, I'm Emma. I'm a wife and homeschooling mom of two amazing neurodivergent kids, and I'm sharing our real life journey of navigating debt, chaos of life, and finding calm wherever we can. This video is going to be packed. I'm sharing our April NoSpend week results, detailed budget breakdown, and a major debt update after our balance transfers have mostly gone through, and setting up our May budget. So grab your coffee, tea, or mocha. This one's going to be full of some details. If you remember from my video last week, we decided to do a NoSpend week. And several of you said you were going to join me, which I absolutely loved. If you did it too, drop a comment below and let me know how it went for you. For us, it was a mixed bag. Some things went really well, like not buying too many groceries and paying cash for everything. No credit cards used at all, which is a big win. Other things, not so much, like when our car's engine just started smoking midweek and we were down to one car while trying to juggle therapies, work, and everything else and how to get there. Probably noticed I do have a Band-Aid on my finger. Yes, it is a My Little Pony Band-Aid. I cut my finger yesterday. It was the first thing I grabbed. So sorry if that is distracting. But let's start with last Saturday. Last Saturday was packed. It was a day before Easter. I work in the early mornings. I am up at 3:15 every single morning, 7 days a week. And I start teaching. I teach English as a second language online internationally. And I start teaching at 4 a.m. again, 7 days a week. So I taught early morning, and then after that, we ran errands, I cleaned the house, and then I spent over 6 hours helping the Easter Bunny prep for what I thought would be an epic indoor and outdoor scavenger hunt for the kids. I had over 30 clues. There were 30 written clues with matching picture clues for my daughter who can't read yet. And I really thought this would keep the kids busy for a while on Sunday. Our Sunday was going to be done. Well, they finished in 90 minutes, of course. But that Saturday evening, I worked really hard. I was up until 11 o'clock that night, finishing prepping for the next day. It was a lot of work. We were so busy that at one point I looked up at the clock and realized it was after 5. The kids were hungry and I didn't have any time to make any dinner. So we went and got subs. Not ideal, but totally understandable with everything going on. And then Sunday, Easter morning, I have to share the story. I felt really bad for my husband. I had forgotten that it was Easter, so I forgot to block my schedule. And I was fully booked, teaching from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. So the kids normally don't wake up till about 6:30. No, they woke up at 5, super early, super excited, and immediately started looking for eggs. My husband was not quite awake yet. He worked so hard to try to keep them quiet so they wouldn't interrupt my classes while, not making them feel bad for being excited and also trying to help them through the indoor part of the scavenger hunt, which went through way too quickly. I did get to join them for the outdoor part once I finished teaching, but it was fun, but exhausting. So let me know, have you ever started a holiday tradition that was fun and easy with one child, but then turned out to be a lot of work and just pure chaos once you had more than one? What does the Easter tradition look like in your house? Let me know in the comments what crazy traditions for the holidays that you are now stuck with. But so anyway, at that point, the subs were really all we had purchased for the whole weekend. And we were feeling really good about going into this week with low spending. Then my husband's car's engine started smoking before he left for work one morning. So thankfully, we think it's a repair we can do ourselves, but we did have to buy some supplies to be able to do it. Doing it ourselves instead of going to our mechanic should save us a few $100s. But that also meant that we were down to one car for most of the week, which also meant extra driving to get my husband to and from work, and then where we needed to go on top of that. So that was a lot of extra gas for the week. So here's what we actually spent. I have it in my planner right here. So this is what we actually spent for the week. Here's what we actually spent for the week for our no spend week. So I have them kind of broken down into categories a little bit. So we did buy subs. It was $26.33. It was done on cash. We ended up having to get a lot of gas and oil for the car. So that was $202.93. Typically, I budget $200 just in case something rolls over. So that was not that was not anticipated. Total food for groceries, my husband's lunches, things like that. We ended up spending $64.70. Kids therapy, I did have to make a big bill to pay some therapy in advance, so that was $153. One of my husband's coworkers did pass away, and so we did donate. His coworkers kind of did a fund where everybody donated $40. This was an ATM fee. And they got flowers for the family, as well as I think gave a cash donation to kind of help them get through a little bit. And then we had to buy some things to fix the car, hopefully fix the car. So that was $152.43. So the total was $642.36. So, I mean, I feel bad about it. We were hoping to maybe, I don't know, spend $200 total. So this was a lot more than what we had anticipated. It makes me feel a little panicky and frustrated. But at the same time, it was paid all in cash. We did not spend anything on a credit card. We were able to pay it, and we're going to hopefully save some money by not going to the mechanic. So our guaranteed income for the month, we typically bring home about $14.25 a week. That's what we can pretty much count on without my husband getting overtime. This month, my husband had only a few hours of overtime, and I wasn't booked for as many classes as usual due to holidays in other countries, international holidays. But we were able to pay all of our bills this month, and I just paid the mortgage this morning. So we are done with everything that was due for this month. Our no spend week wasn't perfect, but I'm not calling it a failure. I did pay everything using cash, and we didn't use any credit cards. We reduced our spending on food, which was great, and it gave us room to be able to buy what I think we need to fix the car in cash. We may do a no spend week every month or so as a way just to slow down and really take stock of what we do have on hand, what we can use up, or maybe what we can make a do with. And everything is just more expensive right now. Groceries, gas, household items. We are now going to review our budget categories every month to see what we can swap, cut, or just do differently. At this point, doing a monthly reset just feels necessary because prices seem to be changing so fast on so many different things. All right. So now on to our debt. So I'm going to move here to our budget and to our debt right here. So in a previous video, I shared that we hadn't had any balance transfer offers in over a year, even though most of our cards were at 25% interest. And we had one card that was at zero balance. A few of you had left comments suggesting that I keep checking and try to use them. And I did. And this month, every single card had a balance transfer offer on it. So I suggest you also keep checking your cards, even if you feel discouraged, like I did, that you're not going to get them for forever again. So suddenly we had all of these transfers. So I have jumped on them. I'm still in process of transferring balances, but it should bring all of our cards except for two to 0% interest until at least February of next year. One card, this card right here that currently has a zero balance, has an open transfer on it for 1% interest every month. And then this card here is 18% interest, and we're going to keep it as is. These two cards here, E1 and E2, those are interest-free until May of this year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer E1 to C, which is going to be a 1% interest. And then I'm going to transfer E2 to E1, which would have 0% interest. So that'll make sure that our payments are actually going to the card and the debt versus the interest that is there. So this is our current debt. We are tack over $60,000 owing, which is just a kick to the gut, that's for sure. But hopefully with the 0% interest rate, we'll be able to actually knock these down instead of the interest eating up the payments and kind of pushing us further behind. So we do have about $1,200 a month total to put toward debt, and more if my husband can pick up overtime. And again, that should really kind of kick these into gear a little bit better. So we are also switching our strategy. We had done a mix of snowball, avalanche, emotional strategy, but we're just going to stick to a straight snowball at this point. Our interest rates are all mostly zero, except for this one, 18%, which is our lowest balance. And so our minimum payments left to these 0% cards will go further, and that interest is not eating most of the payment anymore. That emotional reason to get rid of one of our debts, C, right, this one here, is gone because it was like 90% of our payment was interest. And it just made me sick to my stomach every time I saw that. And it was a high minimum payment. So since the emotional reason is gone, we are just going to focus on the little one to start and then move to the next kind of smallest one as we go. So we're going to pay off B1 first, which is $306. That also just gets recurring payments on it because I get money back. So it reduces my payment amount. And then we're going to hit up A and kind of slam through that one. So that's our goal. All right. So let's look at how the budget breaks down for this week. So we paid off, where did I go? We paid off our mortgage this week. And so that leaves us about $500 left for food and gas. Our goal is not to spend $500, but to use this to make sure everything is paid in cash and not use credit cards at all this week. This is also going to help allow us to see what our real numbers are for groceries and household items so we can get a better view of the budget and tweak what we need to change. We do have a vet appointment this Monday for our senior dog. I had estimated about $400 to $500, and I assumed that we'd have to put that on the card. But our tax refund came in this morning for about $600. So just in time to cover that vet bill, which is a big relief. So we'll be able to cover her vet bill with that instead. And anything left over will go to debt or savings. We haven't quite decided yet. So our budget breakdown for going into May is going to look a little different than most months because where we did get the balance transfers, we don't have any minimum payments for a lot of the cards. So we're able to kind of push what we would normally put here in a minimum to be able to pay off other things or get things for the house, kind of tackle problems that we have been putting on the back burner. So the budget for May, I'm going to highlight May here. We have $1,200 is what my husband basically brings home without any overtime. So about $6,000 because there's now 5 weeks in May. And then I will be bringing home about $1,450 or so with the 5 weeks in May as well. So we have our mortgage, our second mortgage, and our loan. Don't get a second mortgage. Don't do what I did. It's dumb. But that comes to $2,750. And then we have our recurring bills. We do get the COM app, so that hit this month. But all our recurring bills come to about $971. And then we have food and miscellaneous with gas. We're budgeting about $1,000 for each, $200 a week for each. Normally, I try not to budget that much for food and miscellaneous, but I want to see what the numbers really shake out to be using just cash. And then we have our debt payments here, which just minimum payments and paying off this card in full will be about $746. So all of our expenses come to $6469.09, and our income is going to be about $74.50. So then I'm going to look at our May setup. So we're going to pull out our May calendar. So May starts on Thursday. So mortgage 1 and mortgage 2 are due the first day of the month, and those have been paid. So I'm going to highlight that these are done. I have now written every single thing that we have due this month so I don't forget it. I have decided that I'm going to take one small step toward not using credit cards. We're going to check in more often to better predict needs to pay with cash. So my husband and I are going to kind of meet together more often, maybe daily basis, just to say, hey, what did you spend? What do you have to spend tomorrow? What do we need to get? Is there anything on the horizon? And our goal is to figure out an accurate grocery budget that we're going to use every month so we can better get a sense of how much we're actually spending and create a budget that works a little bit better. Our priorities is to finish the balance transfer and paint my daughter's bedroom pink. So we haven't had a chance to do that quite yet, but hopefully in May we can do it. We do have all the supplies that we already got. So next, I'm going to do our monthly bill flow. So this is going to tell me what paycheck is going to pay what bill. This can change, but it gives me a sense at the start of the month. Do I have enough money? Can each paycheck pay for what's due? Can I pay ahead? Paying ahead kind of helps us make sure things are paid and allows us to have a little bit of money kind of stashed aside in case something surprising comes up. So week's one paycheck, we're going to be paying electricity. I'm going to use purple. You can use any marker you want. So we're going to pay electricity, credit card 1, credit card 2, dog insurance, and phone. That's it. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to make them purple. Electricity, credit card 1, credit card 2, dog insurance, and phone. And then we have week 2. So week 2, I will make pink. So we have card A, internet, pest, B2, and our water payment. So I'm going to say A, internet, pest, B2, and loan payment. Yeah, no, and water payment. Sorry. And then week 3 is just the loan payment and the AC card. So loan payment and AC card right here. I'm going to make that pink. Orange. And then the last one we're going to have is going to pay the mortgage to and our mortgage. So I have money left over after each week. So that is going to go into a savings account as a buffer. And it's going to give us about $1,683 to kind of add to week 5. Week 5 is going to pay the mortgage of $1,530. So it's plenty to pay the mortgage, plenty to pay for $200 gas, $200 food. This is a working budget. I have mistakes and changes on here. And then it will give us about $1,200, which we can determine, do we want to put it on a debt? Do we want to get rid of, basically cut this guy in half almost? Do we want to put it to savings for the bills we have coming up that we know will be due this year? Do we have other things we need to buy for the house? Or do we want to pay ahead into June and make sure we don't get caught on a month that's kind of tight? So that's what we're going to try to figure out for May. So we're not perfect by any means, and we're not always ahead either, but we keep showing up. We keep adjusting, and we keep trying to stay honest about the mess that we're in and the progress that we're making. So let me know in the comments, how did your week go? What worked? What didn't? What are you trying to adjust? And please subscribe if you want to see more updates like this, or follow us on our journey. It really, really helps when you subscribe. It really helps the channel. So thank you so much for being here. Until next time. Bye.